Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Back to school blues, sewage woes, transportation issues and teacher migration plaguing schools on the first day of the academic year. PNP rubbishes government solution for teacher shortage. And in sports, JFF set to focus on women's football. I'm Kalisha Williams and here are the details. New school year, same old problems. At the Greater Portmore High School in St. Catherine, it's been everything but a fresh start to the academic year, as students and staff have been plagued by an awful stench coming from a nearby sewage treatment plant. Our reporter Sandy Williams visited the school and filed this report.
It's the first day of school and already students at the Greater Portmore High School are greeted with an unbearable stench emanating from the National Water Commission's sewage plant, which is immediately next door to the school. Now, the situation is not new, as it has been dogging the institution for years. Principal of the school, Mr. Ricardo Ross, says the impact on the teaching and learning process is significant because sometimes he is forced to dismiss classes early. Now, for the new academic year, he is hoping that the relevant authorities, including the National Water Commission, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, and the Ministry of Health will pool together resources to finally put an end to the long-standing issue. Reporting from the Greater Portmore High School in St. Catherine, I'm Sandy Williams for TVJ News. It's back to you in studio.
Thanks, Sandy. And over in Portland, concerns about the nutrition policy in schools. At least one vendor believes the government is not proactive enough in monitoring the sugary products entering the island. Now, as we hear in this report, there were also public transportation concerns in the parish. A fresh start for a new school year. Velika Smith was the first vendor out at the Titchfield High School in Portland. She left her home early Monday morning to catch the first sale at the school gate. But like many vendors island-wide, her stall was packed with salty and sugary snacks.
Some children don't eat food and they will always buy snacks, and this is not our fault. This has to be from home, because I have a granddaughter who don't want to eat food, and all she wants to eat is snack. Have to be on her so that she can eat food.
In 2019, the government imposed a ban on the sale of sugary drinks in schools, and the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, had said the ministry would also engage vendors to get them on board. But for Ms. Smith, the government should focus on monitoring sugary products before they enter the island.
It's not like we produce anything so we can produce stuff with less sugar. So for us to follow or to do or to comply with what the government says, the government then have to take in stuff into the country or get people to make stuff into the country that has less sugar. So basically what I offer is what is there. So I offer Lay's, like dry products, Lay's, the regular ones. This is what is in the supermarket. This is what we can buy.
Meanwhile, in the town of Port Antonio, taxi operators are already bemoaning the transportation issues in the parish as students headed out for school on Monday.
The road out by the east, it's kind of, they are working on it. It's a work in progress. So, you have less vehicle running that side too as well. So I think they're going to have a case run by the bus stop. Yes, I think they're going to have a case around that side too. But as I can see, I drive around the police station this morning where I saw some police. They were like in a group of meetings. So, I'm looking forward for them to assist, some of these kids.
As a result, we were told there were simply not enough taxis to transport students to school, and many of the children made things even more complicated.
Instead of catching a vehicle to go to school, they're waiting on a special vehicle. And I think that's one of the most problem we had with some of our students today. Yes, and that's what's causing the chaos a morning time when students to go to school, because they are waiting on a special vehicle. And if that vehicle is not come, then they will sit and they will wait.
Every day will soon be a water day at the Oracabessa Primary School in St. Mary to help students keep cool at school. Acting Principal Winston McFarlane Forbes says the strategy was initially part of a program to help students eat healthy. But on the first day of the new school year, she revealed that the trend may be a daily one.
During our orientation period, we reminded the parents that especially on a Monday is water day. So we encourage them to take their water on a Monday, but we'll have to encourage them to take their water daily, every day, because of the heat. And it is important that they remain hydrated.
Inside the classroom, students brought their portable mini fans. However, the heat was no match for the small devices with batteries that had already run out before lunchtime. Mrs. Forbes is worried and made this public appeal.
It's a very difficult time. We are reaching out to corporate Jamaica to assist us with some fans, and even if we could get some AC units, we would be grateful. Parents from time to time donate fans to the classes which their children are, and also the children take their little personal fans with them. But we'd really like some assistance to help us to minimize the heat being experienced in the classroom.
As the debate about teacher resignations continue, President of the Jamaica Association of Principals and Secondary Schools says the issue is not new. He gave his take on the issue on an interview on TVJ's Smile Jamaica this morning. Carrie Simpson reports.
Since the start of the year, over 850 teachers resigned from the public education system. Almost half that number resigned after receiving their August salary. School administrators have expressed that they are facing a near crisis. But President of the Jamaica Association of Principals and Secondary Schools, Linvin Wright, says they've been down this road before.
It's how it's normally done, I think, by many teachers at this time of the year. They seek to be assured about what it is they're getting before they let go of what they have. And it's essentially about that. Many of the other reasons I hear out there is not about those things. To me, it's just a matter of ascertaining that I have a job before I let go of the one I have. It's just that it's done late and it's inconvenient, and it's something maybe we have to try to fix.
He says while he's surprised at the significant number of resignations this year, some principals are usually aware that their teachers were leaving.
And many of us have had conversations with the teachers. Many of them have. I mean, I have 14 people going. I heard from 12 persons long before. So I was able to put things in place. Yeah. And some principals are. The ones that are problematic are the ones where they have not said that they're going, and then you just get it at this time.
And Mr. Wright said while administrators cannot stop teachers from resigning, they can minimize the mass resignation through good relationships.
So one of the things many of us as principals did is that we said to our teachers, if we're going, tell us. Some did, some didn't. Right? As I said, I got the majority of mine telling me, and it worked out well because many of us could put ads out, and where we could get teachers, we get them.
In the meantime, Education Minister Favour Williams highlighted options available to school administrators to fill gaps caused by teachers leaving the system. These options include a redeployment of specialist teachers through voluntary relocation, the engagement of final year student teachers, and the recruitment of educators from Cuba. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
And People's National Party spokesman on education, Damian Crawford, says the government's recommendation to use final year teachers in teachers' colleges has not been given enough thought to be practical. He was speaking at a press briefing moments ago.
The parishes without a teachers' college include Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. Mary, Hanover, St. Thomas, St. Catherine, and Clarendon. No facilitation has been made for boarding nor transportation of final year teachers who are simultaneously asked to attend school and equally to teach in the Jamaican teaching system for where there is a shortage.
Mr. Crawford says this would indicate that to work effectively, the government would have to make travel and boarding arrangements.
Our recommendation, therefore, is that in conjunction with the teachers' colleges, the government could arrange for those students so willing to enter a special part-time arrangement for their last year to be a 2-year endeavor, where students would participate in part-time online classes for their degree, but be full-time employed in the teaching in our primary and secondary schools, and that would also contribute to their necessary teaching training activities.
And it's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we come back. Welcome back to the Midday News, and thanks for staying with us. Continuing the news now, day one of operations at the New Trelawney Transportation Centre was not without a few hiccups, as there were complaints about inadequate facilities. As Krista Campbell explains, the police say the shortcomings will be addressed.
More commuters than public passenger vehicles in the newly opened Trelawney Transportation Centre. The facility is expected to reduce congestion and restore public order in the tourist town and Trelawney capital, Falmouth. But on the first day of operations, transport operators complained about a repeat of old issues in the previous taxi park.
They have no shelter. One little place worth of shelter. It's not properly for people coming in. Understand? It's not ready yet.
We need the place to fence because there's right around there are stagnant water. Kids are going to access the park, and so we got to protect them.
And the police made their own assessments.
A little bit of a hiccup with the commuters traveling the Montego Bay route, and early assessment is indicating that there aren't sufficient seats as we speak. Because having spoken to the executive of the association, it seems that most of the vehicles are in the Montego Bay space.
Head of the Trelawney Police, Deputy Superintendent Winston Milton, says the necessary changes will be made. Meanwhile, one transport operator insisted the new facility will work if there is better policing of the town centre.
Getting the robots off the road, and those unruly red plate drivers, like not everybody abide by the rule or by the law. So some will not enter the park or will not access the park. So if the police assist us of getting those people off the road, then everybody will use the park.
The thing about changes in life, you just have to give it a chance. Changes have to be made. So I guess we have to adapt to the system and try to see how it works, see how best it works.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Now, in the Business Minute, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the international assistance in the Stocks and Securities Limited SSL investigations is making progress. He says some of the auditing experts assisting with the probe were in the country recently. Now, overseas in the UK, airlines could face a crackdown on hidden fees as part of a government plan to improve transparency for people shopping online. A public consultation will look at ways to clamp down on firms that add unnecessary charges at checkout, bumping up the final price. It comes as new government research suggests the practice is widespread across a range of industries. And we now go to the midday roundup.
In the region, Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis is marking the second anniversary in office after the Progressive Liberal Party won the 2021 general elections. In a national broadcast, he pointed to a cabinet reshuffle and immigration reforms among his government's achievements. Additionally, he outlined what he described as a drive towards a new change. To this end, the government has injected US $100 million into the local economy, saving a number of businesses from bankruptcy. On the international scene, Brice Ngouma, leader of Gabon's military junta, has been sworn in as the nation's interim president. General Ngouma led last Wednesday's coup against Ali Bongo, toppling the president shortly after he was named winner of a disputed election. Crowds of cheering civilians turned up at his inauguration, a sign there is some support for the military. However, there are concerns Ngouma's rule will be a continuation of the 55-year-old Bongo dynasty. And China on Monday announced that leader Xi Jinping would be absent from an important gathering of the world's 20 top economies for the first time, with Premier Li Qiang traveling to the event in New Delhi this weekend in his place. Xi's absence from the G20 summit comes as tensions simmer between China and host country India over their disputed border and New Delhi's growing ties with the United States. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jordan Fort.